Hey everyone, welcome to this week's show. With me this week, I have former GM of Team Rocket, Kyle.
Hey guys.
I have GM of RoboWolf, Corey. It's pretty quiet over there.
I am
Yeah.
trying to get my mic set up.
And me, your host, champion, and commissioner, the Ramrod Empire. Everyone's favorite time of year. Well, eight teams' favorite time of the year. Playoffs have started this week. Well, eight of you losers are watching from the outside, and a lot of the regulars watching from the outside with a few surprises. But let's get into. We have a lot to cover today, but let's start off with last week's results to see how we got where we are. We'll just briefly run through this. Ramrod Empire losing to Derek, dropping down to fifth place, still in the playoffs. Derek finishing ninth. Kyle, you have anything to say on this one?
I mean, Derek has a problem of which score is he going to choose now for his profile picture, right? I think he goes 10-4 win. And I think, if anything, that Derek gets to brag about this season is taking down the Ramrod Empire twice, but not making the playoffs.
Yeah, that's a big accomplishment that you can live off of for eight more years. Corey, you got anything to say about it?
Not much. Good week by his team. A few close categories, but yeah, good win. But unfortunate, just a little short. So,
He wanted it so bad. It was pretty close on Sunday, and he made all three of his ad drops on Sunday.
oh yeah, I did see that. I was like, holy damn, he wants to win.
Or you can do that when you have nothing to lose. Myself, I didn't want to leave myself for a week that meant nothing. I didn't want to leave myself in a weakened spot going into the playoffs. So I decided to stand pat and not use any of my ad drops last week. My roster was set, whatever. It didn't matter who I'm playing. Hero in 12 finishes 12th place after taking down Daltrey. Daltrey on a slide here, dropped all the way to eighth. Kyle, what do you got to say about this one?
Uh, yeah, Mark put up some decent numbers, got a win, and unfortunately, he's on the outside looking in, and not enough to kick Daltrey out of the playoffs.
Corey, anything to add?
No, and I mean he's only running the the Toronto goalie, so he got lucky there, taking goals against and save percentage, but because he couldn't really compete with the other categories. I just not enough starts, I'd say. I think it's just the three. But his players carried him for a win. He had a pretty good second half of the season. Just didn't tie as much. He might be in the playoff spot.
I talked to Travis a lot about trades and stuff. And Mark is one of those GMs I feel would benefit from making early season trades, but like smart ones that he would have been probably in playoff contention had he done so. Some GMs are just a little too stingy on moving assets to improve their team, and I feel like that's why they missed the playoffs. Um,
Well, we definitely see we saw a better balance in the standings before we really exploded with trades. And now you're seeing typically the better traders more often at the top.
the guys who aren't shy about pulling the trigger, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's something for you guys who are on the outside to pay attention to. If you see a good
But smart
opportunity
trade,
to improve your
smart
team,
trade.
what's that?
Not all, don't just pull the trigger to pull the trigger here.
No, it has to be the right trade. Like pick your targets, and if the deal is right,
Yeah.
um, but don't be afraid to overpay a little bit if it's going to get you further in the end, right? So, Dre finishing third after defeating Mentally Bedarded and solidifying the golden cock for Plums. Kyle, as a Kyle, seeing another fellow Kyle take your golden cock. How do you feel right now?
I feel pretty good about it. I think it's going to look good on Plum's mantle at home. I mean, big congratulations. It's ribbed for your pleasure, Kyle. Uh, yeah, Dre easily took this week. Kyle took some goalie sets, got some good goaltending, and his guys gooned it up this week, but otherwise, easy win for Dre.
Anything to add, Corey?
Yeah, nice to see Plums get it. Just the least active GM of the season by far, I'd say, on a regular basis. Mediocre week from Nick. We wouldn't know it by the score, so it's just how low down the totem pole Plums is. So yeah, I'm happy with that.
No, I was
I, I
very
I did not
disappointed.
want it to be Sean. I supported Plums as the victor, and I just wanted it to be unanimous. So
I wanted it to be Sean personally. I'm not upset that Kyle won it. I got some ideas for his team name should I win this year again. Um, so we'll have some fun with it. But congratulations, Kyle, again. I did personally message him and congratulate him. But
group chat now the podcast, just making sure he's getting the love.
you gotta get that love with that golden cock. I look forward to delivering that to you here. Maybe at the draft, we'll have a little celebration. Get it for the league archives here. We'll figure something out. Casey finishing 10th, not even ninth. Falling short of the playoffs after losing to Patches. Um, Now this goes back to me saying that Derek probably shouldn't have sold at the deadline. Thinking that he couldn't make the playoffs. He probably could have made it had he kept his players and made a push. But Patches pulling out the big win. Kyle, what happened?
Patches had an insane week. His goaltending was out of this world. He had three shutouts, a .953 save percentage, 1.19 GAA, 6 wins. Just destroyed the goaltending categories, and then he grinded it up. I know Casey had some injuries, but I don't think it would have made a difference. Patches, insane week. Congrats on making the playoffs, and better luck next year, Casey.
What do you got to say, Corey?
I think he summed it up perfect. Nothing to really say there.
Yeah, it's too bad for Casey, but it's nice to see him competing. It's been a while since that franchise competed. So hopefully next year he makes some moves early on, doesn't hold on to some dead roster spots, and maybe we'll see him in the playoffs. RoboWolf finishing second, taking the loss to Dan. Dan jumping in the fourth with that victory. Corey, let's start with you this time. What happened here?
This was a good battle. Um, Score was a lot closer than 9-3. I wasn't worried. Similar to you, I made an ad for this week. I wasn't worried about the standings there. I've sitting second no matter what. But no, we both had pretty solid weeks. I thought. I just he was the victor. Like one 5 blocks more, one shot more. Uh, Goalie stats were fairly close both ways. Yeah, it was a good week.
Yeah. Kyle, anything to add?
Yeah, a good week by both players. Dan squeaked this out. Very tight week, despite the 9-3 score.
I got some criticism about Dan, but I'll save that for later. Um, but yeah, good on him for solidifying that fourth spot. Um, didn't matter really for either team. Both were making the playoffs. So TBT finishing 14th, defeating the Braden bye week, giving Braden his fourth loss of the season. Kyle, what happened here?
Braden's team just didn't show up. And this is what we've been saying all season. Braden's team is not as good as his placement in the standings would suggest. And Travis exposed him this week.
Travis does like to expose himself. Uh, Corey, got any of that?
No, nice to see. I'm not the only one in the playoffs who's lost to Travis now. So yeah, good on you, Travis. Good win, buddy.
It was a surprising win, but one I'm happy to see. Maybe breaks Braden's morale a little bit going into the playoffs. I like that. Sorokin these nuts, finishing 13th. A big fall from a playoff contender last year. Losing the Domo, jumps up to sixth, and finishes sixth to play Dre. Kyle, what happened here?
It's a tight week. Domo managed to take six player categories, tie it in a few different categories, and Neil dominated goaltending, but that was pretty much all he could do. And Domo takes a nice close win to keep his winning streak alive.
Yeah, pretty sure that's ending this week, but Corey, what do you got to say about it?
Yeah, a good week besides like a special point or a goalie win. Hits Domo won by two, and that really was the difference. Nice for him. Six win streak here going into the playoffs.
Yeah, big win for Domo. I have some stuff to say about his team, but I'll say that later. Like, I'm gonna be real opinionated this week, boys. We're in the playoffs, and it's fucking go time. So, Charlie Brown's finishing 15th after defeating Team Rocket. Kyle, what happened here? What happened with Lyle?
Oh, took his second loss of the season to the Charlie Browns, uh, and pretty much say this is the reason why Team Rocket is in the playoffs. The football was pulled on Team Rocket, uh, and quite frankly, it's bullshit. But yeah, Sean had great goaltending this week. That was the real difference maker, and good on Sean to avoid getting a golden cock in the ass.
Too bad for him. Like he had that spot dusted off. Corey, you got anything to add?
I do. Yeah, even the 3 points Kyle got was close. Like one PIM, three power play points, five blocks. So it almost was a zero. It could have been a donut. I do want to call out though that a top five goalie like Markstrom did not do well for you with a 786 save percentage and a 458 goals against average. So I don't know if top five's accurate, but
Well, he was top
but
five before he came back from that injury,
oh,
and he's
he is doing well. I don't. I'm just playing with you. He
yeah,
had
yeah,
a
yeah.
great
Uh, but yeah, he did the job in the last couple of weeks, and it cost me.
week.
The Devils are in a rough spot right now, right? So,
Well, yeah,
I
Hamilton,
doesn't help.
Hughes, it definitely had a huge impact on my team. That's the way
well,
she goes.
enough about last week. Let's start talking about. You guys did some reports here. We'll start off with Corey. I believe Corey, you should be able to share your screen. I set it for
Sweet.
multiple people, but I'll stop sharing mine just in case.
Should be good. Can you see it?
Yeah.
So I thought it was pretty interesting looking at the streaks for the season, um, looking at every team as a whole and kind of the different stretches that people go through. So I've highlighted a few key things here. The longest stretch of getting points in a week without losing, we had Braden with 10 weeks with one tie in there. We look at just winning streaks. We had two people with 6 week winning streaks, Dan and Domo, in both the last 6 weeks of the season to push for the playoff spot. And then three people with 6 week losing streaks. We have Derek, he had one 6 week streak, Kyle with two different 6 week streaks, and same with Sean. Travis, not even with one. He spread out his wins throughout the season. He didn't want to raise any red flags, I guess. But I thought it was pretty interesting to see. And then I it's not too great to be able to kind of look at the graph this way because there's just so many teams that we're looking at. But you can really see that since week six, Braden just hasn't looked back, and he's been first overall ever since then. And then you can see the Golden Cock race really right down to the stretch. Some people pulled away and made it a tight finish. That's all you can really tell there. But I'll share some other stuff here. So to give some love to some of the past winners because I don't want to keep hearing it from Neil. I think it's very understandable. So I've highlighted a few things. So this year we had year two, so we have gone over me as a winner. So for now, we're taking a step back and we're going to year two, season two. Sorry, I'm trying to zoom out a bit. We have Derek against Nick's notable team. with a 7-6 win. Only a 10-8-2 season. I think he was seventh or eighth seed that year. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Um,
he's just snuck into the playoffs.
yeah, snuck into the playoffs. Five less games played. Um, really tight matchup here. His goalie's taken three of the five categories, only losing the one was the difference makers. And we know season one, I think he went for only goalies and PIMs or in hits, right? Wasn't he? So we knew he was pretty stacked goalie wise.
That's what he did this year. That's how he won that year. Is
Yeah,
he changed our thought process on elite scoring, really.
yeah. So we look at the keepers he had going into the year. He had Carey Price, Ryan Getzlaf, Simmons, Mrazek, and Fleury. So three goalie keepers. Like that was the thought process there for him. Um, it didn't break down which pick he actually drafted, which round. It just gave you the one to or 6 to 18, and so I don't know which rounds it actually was if he made any trades. But he picked Milan Lucic, the big grinder back in the day. Was he a huge value player? Tyson Berry, Andrew Ladd, Carl Alsner, Torrey Krug, Brandon Dubinsky, Marian Hossa, Mark Harwicki, Cody McLeod, Brooks Orpik, Miko Koivu, Tommy Wingles, Marian Gabrick. Not a lot of movement on the year. He
A lot of
did
grind.
trade. Pardon me.
A lot of grind.
Oh, a lot of grind. Oh yeah. Um, we take a look at the moves he made through the year. He did move Mrazek in a seventh to fuck you Neil, which I don't remember who it is this to be honest. Yeah.
Plums.
Was it Plums?
Yeah,
Yeah. For an eighth and Weber. He moved Flurry to Hot Dogs and Cold Beer, who I think is Braden.
it was Braden.
Yeah, for Bufflin. So really moved some goaltenders though for this playoff push to get some defense. Tyson Berry in an 18th to me for a 15th and Orlov. So we take a look at his team. So he only had three keepers left. He did draft four people that were made on his team. So we had Lucic, Koivu, Dubinsky, Berwicky that he kept on his team. He did trade for Weber, Orlov, and Bufflin. So one at the deadline, two right around each other, January. Um, then free agency. So he picked up Jacob Trouba in free agency pretty early, so November 7th, and held on them to the end. Picked up Spezza, Sebastiano, Aho, Michael Hutchinson, Alex Petrangelo, Yaroslav Halak, Ryan Sutter, and Calvin. Picard's free agency going down the stretch. So some pretty big names, eh?
Yeah,
Uh,
Yeah.
I forgot I wanted to show this
a lot
actually.
of them were young though too, right? So it's
Oh
like
yeah, yeah, definitely. Like Nylander got moved in the next year, and he wasn't a keeper. He got dropped. He didn't even make it to the end of the year roster. But taking a look at the playoffs, so we had Derek going through Nick, Kyle's team, and then the other Nick for the finals. Ooh, I have it. I beat Shane in a
you
playoff
got me
series.
in the playoffs.
I didn't even notice that till now. Um, but then Nick taking me out in the semis, in one of the semis. So Kyle with a tie in the quarterfinals against Pages is gonna hate. I think that was Neil.
It was Neil.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. So
Those tiebreakers come in handy, boys.
yeah, apparently. So I have two
It-
more years. I think we have time to go through a couple more. Do you have anything
yeah,
you want to say about this one though? Guys, give you guys the floor for a sec.
I'm good.
it's very interesting to see because seeing the names on the team, this is a long time ago. They're not in the same like status as we might imagine them. Some of them, right?
Yeah,
Like
like this was
Truba
guys.
was young, so
Yeah,
that's why he was a free agent. He wasn't established yet. Um,
yeah.
you
Same
know,
with Aho.
Yeah,
He was real young there.
the fact that you could get Truba in free agency, and I didn't really think Spezza was so bad that he would be available in free agency as well at that point, but this must be towards the end of his career.
Could be injury timing,
Yeah, maybe.
right?
end of his
Could have
career
been
though, like
dropped and then
he wasn't
claimed
for
through waivers too, though,
yeah.
right?
Especially in March, it would have been could have been playoff time. Like I need to drop someone. Who do I drop? Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but even like Ryan Suter. Ryan Suter was a big block machine back then. So
Cool. Yep.
it's interesting. You got to remember, like, just look at the roster overall. It might not look that impressive, but you got to remember what they were doing at that time.
Yeah, we take a look, right?
Yeah,
83 hits, 51 pims. So his goalies with a shorty and then his grind is what did it. He didn't matter here.
nope.
I mean, he got one game and a goal helps, but yeah. But that's the team he built, and he didn't win a lot of close. He didn't blow teams out, right? That's why he had the 10-8-2 record going into the playoffs. Um, Close battle here. Curious how
But
close they're
even
going
though
to
look at Nick's
nine
record,
six, 7-3, like some.
Nick finished second, and he's at 14-5-1. It's not like a huge win difference between him and Derek.
No, no, you're right. Four weeks.
The league used to be really close like that, right? Then it got separated for a while, and we're getting back to close in the standings.
Yeah, I remember the playoffs that year playing against Derek, and we were like tied going to Saturday night, and then he pulled away from me on Saturday night to get that 7-3 win on me.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one, buddy. We got all kinds of time, so
Yep. All right, we got Neil here.
this is the one that we want to hear about because then we can
Yep.
stop hearing about it.
Yep. So we have Neil beating Plums in the finals, 10-4. Plums would get far less criticism if he just won this week. Then we have Neil getting there by beating Braden in the semis, 7-6.
And Team
Uh,
Ramrod.
and then Team Ramrod, 9-6.
Back when I was the easy first round exit boys.
Apparently, back to back. Connor was young. Matthews was young.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, we had Nick lose first round too. I didn't even make the playoffs this year. Where are you, Kyle? I don't think you did either.
Oh,
No. So we take a look at his matchup against Plums here. So the difference here, goalie stats, they both split two apiece. So really the deep stats, taking all three of them, really was the difference. Otherwise, it would have been a 7-7 split potentially, right? 5 game winning goals, one power play point more. 18 goals is a good goal amount though. Plus 21, also a good number. Plus 25 was the finals the year before too. So it's though with the winner.
Plus
So we
minus,
take,
very important.
yep,
Draft players on good teams.
helps. All right. Uh yeah, it didn't update
Look
his
at those
either. So we got
keepers. Martin Jones.
keepers. Yep. Martin Jones, Artemi Panarin, Mitch Marner, David Pastrnak, Mike Hoffman, Martin Jones as the keepers. Uh, so then drafted in the seventh round, Nikolai Ehlers, eighth round, Tyler Toffoli, ninth round, Radko Gudas, 10th round, Aaron Ekblad, 10th round, Ryan Strome, 11th, Adam Larson, 12th, Vincent Trocheck, 13th, Anders Lee, 14th, Mike Condon, 15th, Alex Martinez, 16th, Rick Nash, 17th, Evgeny Dadonov, 18th, Frank Vetrano. I was surprised to see his name there. So some noticeable, not a lot of trades here. So now I actually have the picks upgraded. So you can see he moved a sixth for a 10th last year. That was it. So this year as well, two things interesting. One, every single trade was with me. He has 3 trades on the air. He traded Mitch Marner to me for with a ninth for Furlan and a 10th. Then throughout the year, he picked up Smith and traded a sixth to me for Taylor Hall and an 11th. And then I traded him Hoffman for Smith like the next day. So that was pretty interesting there. All 3 trades were with me. Not a lot of movement. You can tell by his draft picks too. We look at who he ended up with. So he did end up getting rid of one of his other keepers. So he had Panarin, Pastrnak, and Jones. So it means he dropped Hoffman through the season. That's how good of a keeper he
You
was.
trade him to you.
Did he trade him? Oh yeah. Sorry, he did. Oh, I don't know why I didn't put that there then. All right. Yeah, so he did trade the keeper to me. So another year of only three keepers were remaining. Through the draft, he still kept Tyler Toffoli, Vincent Trocheck, Nikolai Ehlers, Aaron Ekblad, Alex Martinez, Adam Larson, Anders Lee. Still all names we see today.
They were all
Uh,
young, right?
yep. He did uh, trade for Taylor Hall and Craig Smith before the trade deadline, so early February. And then through free agency through the year, early September, so before the season even started, he picked up Sergachev. In November, he picked up Paul McNabb in December. Uh, and then near the end, kind of playoff push time, Kincaid, Subban, and Kyle Connor through free agency.
Some good names.
Yeah, yeah, that's a gritty team with some skill. So this is it's going to get heavy with trades as I keep going along, but
Yeah, I bet.
you'll see it escalates to the next year here. You guys have anything you want to say about this one?
It looks like Neil drafted pretty well this year. He kept quite a few of his draft picks.
Yeah, that's something I want to look at. I want to see what percentage of draft picks are kept typically. I find it's going to be interesting going down.
Yeah,
And
no,
then I
that'll
want
be
to see
fun.
if there's any repeated names that we start noticing here. That like let's see if there's like somebody who's been on the winning team like four times. I think that'd be pretty cool to see.
I can tell you some.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. Yep. So it'd be cool to see everybody, right? Because I'm sure there'll be
Yeah,
some surprising names, and there might be a couple randoms that were just picked up like and just coincidentally, like Subban could have been on another winning team. Like you wouldn't expect him to be on a winning team as a goalie, right? So
he had
Yeah, these are
potential
like
back then.
last week pickups, like March
exactly.
22nd, March 23rd. It could be
Yeah.
anybody.
I feel a
Yeah.
guy like
Exactly.
McNabb and Larson, you'll see a couple times, like the guys who add the peripheral categories.
Yeah. And then I could have added like all the players that were used through the playoffs, but really this is the team, and these would be the names on the trophy. So I'm sticking to that.
It's fair. So just so you guys know, we're at 7 minutes left in this part. I'm not
Okay.
trying to rush because I'm really enjoying this. Let's go in depth. We'll do a second
Yeah.
part. We'll do it as long as we need to, really. As long as it makes sense.
Yeah.
Time.
There's only one more. I don't have any year 6, 7, 8 done yet. So
That's all right.
so
We'll cover that next week
yep. Give us some ammunition there.
because you'll have
And
to
then
give Mark
and then
his
Kyle
recognition, right?
can take his time as he goes through his part too. So
So we'll finish this up. Part two, we'll come back with Kyle's report and we'll get into the playoff talk.
yeah. All right. So we go to the playoffs here. This is the infamous tie between Nick and Sean, 7-7. Oh, it's pretty funny. So big battle there. Nick with a 7-6 win over the other Nick in the semis, and then a cruise into a win in the quarters against Plums. Um, how did Sean get there? He beat me in the semis 8-6, another close battle, and then he won 8-6 in the quarterfinals. So a lot of really close matchups in this playoffs here. Um, Out of the ones that mattered and weren't just a blowout, um, only the one had a bigger gap than 2 points between both teams. So that's pretty good playoff hockey there.
So this
So
is the one year I didn't make the playoffs. So that means that's the year I got Kachuk.
is it
It's the only
all
time I
right?
was the seller.
So we look at how they pulled this off. Um, King Hank's goalie stats taking four of the categories, but Nick's players pulling out the win for him here.
The hit.
7 goals,
One hit.
One hit.
Damn.
Two
one.
blocks. Like
What are you looking at?
the
Can you
hit.
not see? It might. Is it glitchy for you?
No.
No, it's
The
fine.
hit.
One
67 to
hit.
66.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm following now. Yep. Very close. Yep. Four power play points. Yeah. Like that. That would have been Sunday sweat. Like
Yeah.
sweat. But look how phenomenal the goalie stats are too. Like Nick, 242, 921, and to lose. Uh, quite the battle. Both two plus teams. Look at how he got there. So the keepers going into the draft here for him were Vasilevsky, Jamie Benn, Phil Kessel, Leon Draisaitl, and Cam Talbot. Um, his
Not a lot of
picks.
difference.
Pardon me.
Not a lot of difference to his roster today. When he still has Baz, Tricidal. He just got rid of Braden Point not too long ago, but yeah,
Yeah,
he's had those three guys for what 6 years now, more than that
yeah,
probably.
yeah. He had Ben for a while too. Oh no, he did.
He did.
He re got him. He re got him though. I think.
He,
Oh, that would have
he
been 3 years there though. Anyways, yeah,
yeah, he had him for a while.
yeah. So we look at the draft. So seventh round, he picked up Braden Point, Travis Konechny. Didn't draft again until the 10th. Picked up Josh Manson. 12th, he picked up Philip Zadina, Nick Bustad. 13th, Casey Middlestad. Really surprised to see that name. 15th, Jacob Truba. 16th, John Moore. Didn't even recognize this name. He also picked up Dmitry Orlov, 17th round, Adrian Kempe, also Jonathan Drouin, 18th round, Charlie Coyle, and Kevin LeBlanc. So we look at some of the notable trades for the year. So he moved Jamie Benn and a seventh round pick to Kyle for an eighth round pick in Vladimir Tarasenko. Um, a lot of picks, a lot of trades with not big pick gaps back in the day.
Our
So
trades have evolved.
yeah, have they ever? Uh,
Inflation.
damn Trump. Yeah. So then we
This
look
is
at the
the
other.
most I've dealt with Nick in one season, apparently.
Yeah. Cam Talbot also got traded, another keeper. He moved him in a sixth and Deneau to Shane here for an 11th. And William Nylander and Tyler Seguin. He did move Konechny in a 14th to Shane for Josh Anderson. Um, he moved Jonathan Drouin in a 13th to Please Don't Feed the Goalie. Who is that? Do you guys remember who that is?
Yeah, that was Joel. That's
Well,
Casey's franchise.
oh, it's case friend.
For,
Yeah,
for an eighth and Brian Little. A couple other noticeable trades. He moved Brian Little again in a 15th to Nick Top Shane Bottom.
That was Travis.
Yeah. For Nito Niederreiter in an 18th. He moved Galchenyuk in 8th and 11th to Neil for a 14th, 15th for Matt Duchesne, Antoine Roussel, and Zach Aston Reese at 11th and 12th to Nick Top Shane Bottom for a 14th and 18th, Nyquist and Hag, Boone Jenner, Nate Schmidt, 8th and 10th to the AHLers for Yandel Connor, Kyle Connor, a 16th and a 17th. So then we take a look at his final roster here.
Okay, before we do that, I don't want to cut you off, but we have just over a minute. So let's
All right.
pause. We'll
Okay.
come back and we'll start off with the review of his roster.